as the Deputy Prime Minister, I would just like to disagree with what the leader of the opposition had said a while ago. Because for me, for us, the government side, what is the connection of federalism or the form of government in the use of cell phones in schools? We are not talking about the forms of government, but rather we are talking about the use of cell phones in the schools. Now, he said that we should eradicate the system which causes the abuse. But the leader of the opposition did not clearly give us an emphasis on how to eradicate the said system which leads to abuse. Then he also stated that there are more positive effects rather than the negative. Well, I beg to disagree with that because of the following reasons. First is that he said a while ago that the safety of the students. Now, there is a goal of keeping children safe which is neglected if the device is at the mercy of whoever holds it. The link between parents and children that phones provide is easily broken. If the child doesn't want to be rich, she can always turn off the phone and plead the no service defense. He can say that, "Oh, mom or dad, there's no service and I did not receive your call." Not to mention the fact that children with phones who miss calls or fail to call their parents, causing more stress and worry than others who don't carry phones with them. Phones give parents a reason to be concerned if not used. If their children will not answer the phone, then that will mean that they will be more worried because they have given their children the device wherein they can communicate with their children, but to no avail, they cannot use it anymore. Furthermore, any person who does not want a child to reach their parents can easily take it off them before they are able to use it. Well, it is true that cell phones can provide safety, but let us not also forget that true safety is provided by maturity and good parenting and good communication, not just a phone line. Now, second would be is that children should not be comfortable with modern technology, merely with the modern world. Because mobile phones are distraction from the real world, as what I've discussed earlier, having a negative impact on children interacting with those around them. As there have been a lot of surveys, and it found out that more than 3/4 of the said technology has had a negative effect on the family life, and a third said that they ban mobile phones from the dinner table. Furthermore, a survey said that in America, teenagers are found that 51% of them talk to their friends on their cell phone every day. Can you imagine that? And only 29% of them spend time with friends in person doing activities outside of school. This will probably reflect on how they live their life. Third would be independence is by its very nature unsupervised. Therefore, the only way parents know how mobiles are being used is to be told by often shy teenagers. In some cases, as I have mentioned a while ago, that with the use of mobile phones, there have been a lot of mobile pornography, sexting, gambling, and cyberbullying. In some cases, this has led to sex offenders being able to hide behind the anonymity of chat rooms and phone numbers and develop relationships with young children. Imagine that. This would be less of a problem if children were aware of the dangers, but sad to say they are not aware because they have not been educated on what mobile phones are really for. However, the true extent of online grooming remains unknown, and there are ways of encouraging independence without risking exploitation in new media environments such as the cell phones. However, honest discussions and responsible education can ameliorate some of this risk. Now, the second point of the leader of the opposition, he said a while ago that it is for educational purposes, but he did not cite what specific or what are some of the educational purposes of mobile phones. And the leader of the opposition had also said a while ago that you can discipline students on how they can use their phones, but he did not specifically provide a concrete example on how to discipline the students, which is, I think, the 2 points he had is a very good point. So I strongly disagree with that. Now, I will provide more substantive arguments for our case, just as to reveal our case and make our stand, our model, a better one. This house believes that schools radiation emitted by handsets are carcinogenic. When we say carcinogenic, they provide or they can cause cancers. And it has been widely accepted that the radio frequency electromagnetic fields emitted by mobile phones are absorbed by the body, and much of it are absorbed by the head when the headset is held into the air. And since children, as we all know, the children's brains are still developing, any possible damage to them is more worrying than adults. Second would be is that our second point would be mobile phones are too expensive for children. Now, even if the basic models are cheap to buy, calls are expensive and charges are amounting up because what kids really want to do is to text message their friends, download some stuff, and play games or download even games. And many young people nowadays have accumulated up big bills and their parents have to pay for it. A few rich families, as we all know, might be able to afford it, but let's not forget the parents from poorer families. But for many parents, the hours their kids spend on their phones are an uncontrollable expense and they cannot cope up with it. Others are also being some students are also experiencing peer pressure because they are pressured with their friends to get the newest phones, the newest model, or the newest unit of phones. And this can lead to bullying because, as we all know, students who cannot get what they want and who are not, like for example, the new iPhone 5s, and all of their classmates have already bought that certain iPhone 5s, and they are the only one in the classroom which had not bought it. Then they will feel that they are less of their classmates, and that their classmates can bully them like, oh my god, so poor, he doesn't have the capacity to buy this iPhone 5s or what. And with that, it can lead to suicidal. Now, when we say suicidal, as we all know, studies show that suicidal are very rampant in teenagers because of bullying. And as what our Prime Minister discussed a while ago, that cyberbullying exists not just in television or in computers, but also in mobile phones, because their classmates can easily text them and bully them without their parents knowing it. Because even though their parents will ban them from watching televisions or will ban them from using the computer, they can still use internet or the social networking sites in their phones. And banning would at least partially reduce the financial strain on poorer families, because as we all know, there are more necessities, there are more things to be discussed, the money that their parents are earning, there are a lot of more important things to be allotted for it. And the government side believes that these 2 points that we have can be a very strong point because it is very present nowadays that some not just some, but most of teenagers are usually into text messaging their friends, downloading games, and they get to what do you call this? They get to sum up or accumulate big bills, and that their parents have to pay for it. And with that, I partially rest my case.